listening to the Fun with Horror podcast with your hosts, Scotty and Andrew.
Hello, all you beautiful friends with horror. Welcome to episode 75 of Fun with Horror, your almost weekly movie review podcast in which my best friend Andrew and I take turns giving each other movies to watch, and then we discuss them the following week. We only have two rules here at Fun with Horror. Number one, whoever picks the movie has to pick a movie they've never seen. And number two, we both have to watch that movie before we discuss it. Last week was my pick, and I picked last year's Smile, directed by Parker Finn and starring Sosie Bacon in the lead role, who, Andrew, is the daughter of who?
Kevin Bacon
and
Keira Sedgwick.
Yes.
I know.
And who, boy, she really looks like Keira Sedgwick.
She does. She looks like both of her parents. I'll say that, man. Like, you can definitely see her parents.
We'll talk about it. I couldn't see Kevin.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see Kevin so much. That's why I was so surprised when I found out. But it made sense. I could see Keira. Anyway,
for sure, yeah.
Stay tuned, everybody, to the end of this episode where we get to hear what Andrew has chosen for our next movie. And as always, I'd like to ask everybody a little bitty favor. We have lots of listeners, buddy.
We do.
Right? We do.
Yes.
We see the numbers every week, and it's fun to look at them. But you know what? We've only got 20 ratings and or reviews on Apple Podcasts. Only 20. So that means that there's a bunch of people that have yet to go on to Apple Podcasts and leave us a nice little rating and or a review.
Yeah, man. 15 of those are mine.
Thank you for that. I appreciate all those reviews.
I have a lot of Apple accounts. Don't ask why.
Is it so you can buy the Smurfs movie on
Yes.
each account?
Yes. I never want to be without a Smurfs movie.
I'm going to buy it 15 times.
Just in case.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. It's a new year.
It is. It is. It's 2023.
2023.
Yeah,
and this is
time flies.
It's not our first episode of the new year.
Correct.
It's our first movie discussion episode of the new year.
This is true.
We've talked about some things that we want to do better, I guess. I don't know. That we want to apply to our podcast. We're always thinking of things.
Yeah.
But I got a couple things. This is normally stuff I talk to you off podcast about.
Yeah.
But man, I'm going to throw it at you live on air.
Okay.
Everybody's hearing it as it goes down.
Oh my gosh. Everyone's going to hear our fights.
So it's two things, but they're kind of related.
Okay.
And if you disagree with me, I am completely okay with this.
Okay.
I want to stop tiptoeing around each other, buddy. For instance,
Hey.
we are so secretive with each other because we want to save everything for the podcast. Oh boy, I scared the hell out of you right there.
I know. I was like, what the heck are we? What did I do?
What's happening right now?
Yeah.
Is it snowing? No. Okay. So here's the case in point. Here's why I thought of this. I finished watching Hellbender.
Oh, right. Yeah. I saw that. No, I didn't see that. I saw that you saw it.
And it was on your list of movies you want to see this year.
Mm-hmm.
So normally I would tell you, hey, I've seen the movie.
Right.
But I would keep what I thought about it secret.
Right.
I don't think I need to do that anymore.
Yeah,
why shouldn't I just tell you right now what I thought of that movie?
I think that's great. I'm all about it. That works for me.
And it also may help you decide whether you want to pick it for the podcast or watch it on your own.
That's true. I love it.
So,
that's great.
Yeah, I saw Hellbender.
Yeah.
And just for the listeners out there, our promise remains the same. We are only going to spoil our movie of the week.
Right. Correct.
So any other movie we talk about, we're not going to spoil. So this is kind of a mini review of Hellbender. Buddy, did you know that Hellbender was written, directed, and stars a family?
Like an actual family? Like a
Yes,
real
they're known
family?
as the Addams family, which is
Nuh-uh.
cute. Yeah, their last name is Addams.
What? That's awesome.
Yeah, father, mother, and daughter. And the
Oh,
movie
cool.
largely stars the mother and daughter.
Okay.
The father is also in it too. And
Story of my life.
yeah. So I will say that because it was created, directed, all this by a family,
Mm-hmm.
that's impressive. And I give the
Yeah.
movie huge kudos for that.
That's cool. I'm kind of curious now what their chemistry is like because they're a family. So I would assume it's probably pretty good.
And that's the other thing I'll say. The acting is actually really good.
Cool. Okay.
But the other thing I was going to say is I also have to put that aside when I think about how much I enjoyed the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the movie was interesting. I didn't think the movie was great.
Okay. Okay.
There's some special effects that are pretty good for a family doing this movie on their own.
Right.
But at the same time, they kind of reminded me of like music video special effects.
Gotcha.
So
yeah.
I think it's kind of worth a watch. I don't know how much you're gonna like it. I'll be honest.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, that's just my thoughts. My
All
two
right.
cents.
That's good to know. I like this. I like you telling me because I
Ooh.
definitely am. Yeah, it might not be a podcast movie. It might be watch on my own at some point.
In like 4 years.
Probably 4 to 5 years. Yeah.
The other thing about the podcast is that we've talked about this before, how sometimes when we want to see a movie, we hold off. And we see more movies than we probably would if we didn't do the podcast.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But at the same time, we do hold off watching movies sometimes because we're like, okay, maybe we'll save this one for the podcast.
Right. Yes.
True. And I don't know how much that's going to continue. I think we should watch movies if we feel like watching them, but we'll let each other know.
Yeah, I think
and
that's
if
good.
Like I'll know which movies I want to do for the podcast, and
Right.
which movies you want to do. And then of course there'll be big movies that we talk about, and we're like, we have to do this.
Right. Yeah, well, for sure.
Whatever.
I like it, man. I'm on board. I'm on board with all of this.
I mean, bottom line, I just like to see you smile.
What is it you like to talk about?
Hi, patient. Hi. I know you're nervous. I just want to have a chat.
I'm seeing something no one else can see except for me. It's smiling at me. Oh my God!
All righty. Well, an excellent segue. We were just saying we haven't had one of those in a while, man. I love those. It's just nice. It's nice.
Well, it wasn't as easy to segue with Christmas, Bloody Christmas.
I mean, if we were British, it'd be easier, but like
cheerio.
Cheerio, Christmas, Bloody Christmas.
I let you go for it. I didn't even try.
I tried. All of our English.
We actually have British listeners, so I didn't want to offend them.
I know. I just probably I'll get some death threats, but that's all right.
The number is going to go to 0.
Yeah. Gosh, days since accidents. So anyway, you picked a movie that we were both excited to see last year, but we just didn't get around to seeing it last year, and that's Smile, which I definitely have some thoughts, which we'll get to. But of course,
it's a good thing we have thoughts, though.
I think
otherwise this podcast would suck.
It would be real bad. It'd be
it was cool.
People could just listen to us breathe.
Are you smiling, buddy?
Oh,
I'm smiling.
I like your smile. Things got weird. It puts the lotion on its skin. Anyway, though. Of course, everyone listening.
Hey, if the podcast is nothing but this, you doing this deep, creepy voice and doing different lines for movies, I'm happy. So keep going.
Thanks, man. This is the podcast now. Just me being my weird self.
Why?
Mind you, everyone listening, we are recording later than we usually would. Usually we're morning recorders, but we're doing it at night. So I'm all sorts of goofy tonight. So
yay.
I
like Goofy Andrew.
You say that now.
But I'll say it every day.
Thank you, buddy. Of course, though, just everyone listening, before we jump into Smile, this is your spoiler warning. So we are going to talk about Smile. We're going to talk about the big beats. We're going to spoil it. So if you've not watched it yet, pause it, go watch the movie right now, and then come back and listen. Or if you're all right with spoilers, stick around, enjoy the show. But my friend, are you ready to do, I don't know, roughly a 3-minute-ish recap of this movie?
I'm not.
Okay, great.
I did not practice, so.
I think you can probably do this one. I don't know. I think you'll be all right on this one.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see,
okay.
Buddy. Wish me luck.
You don't even need it. You're so good at this.
We'll see.
Well, my friend, whenever you're ready, take a deep breath, channel your thoughts, and start when you want.
Okay, here we go.
I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
All right, so Smile largely focuses on the character of Rose, who is a psychologist. And it basically starts when a girl shows up at her office and says that something is following her. And then it smiles all the time, and it takes the shape of people she knows, and it said she's going to die. Next thing you know, the girl freaks out, saying that the thing is behind Rose, and then Rose falls backwards. And then when she looks up, the girl is sitting there with a creepy smile. And then she slashes her throat, starting with her cheek, and just slashes her entire throat and kills herself, smiling the entire time. Well, I'm going to jump ahead here. It turns out that what happens when that happened is that this girl passed on a curse to Rose. So now Rose is going to start to see people smiling. She's going to start to hear people that aren't there. And this starts to affect her life. And things happen with her husband or her boyfriend, I guess. I don't think it's husband. And this thing keeps haunting her and doing things to her. And eventually she finds out that there's a long line of people that somebody kills themselves in front of somebody else, and they pass on that trauma, this entity, to the next person. And the person never lasts more than a week. So once that happens, Rose is desperately trying to figure out how to get rid of this thing. And her final last-ditch effort, after even going to see a guy who killed somebody, he got rid of the entity by killing somebody else in front of another person, in front of a witness. Rose goes to see that guy. There's a whole freak out scene, which was cool. Rose ends up going to this house that she grew up in, all by herself, because she figures if there's nobody else she can pass the trauma on to, then she can deal with this entity on her own. She comes face to face with this entity who takes the shape of her mother, who she saw die in front of her when she was a kid. And she goes face to face with this entity. She thinks she kills it, but then she ends up, she hasn't. And then her ex shows up, who's a cop who I haven't talked about. He shows up at the cabin, and as he walks in, he hears her screaming. He walks in, and she's setting herself on fire in front of him. And the movie ends with his eye in the camera, and you know that the entity has now been passed on to him. The end.
Just like that. Just under 3 minutes, buddy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
Yep, just under. Well done.
Thank you. I didn't look at the timer. So
you got the beats. You got it.
You got the beat.
That's all you can sing.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, Belinda Carlisle. I did say you've got the beat. I think the song
you're
is
right.
We've
Instead
got
of
the
it's
beat,
weave.
so
Yeah.
no
You're
copyright.
right.
No copyright.
We can do we Weird Al this.
The Go-Go's still love us.
Yes. Thank you, the Go-Go's.
All right.
My gosh. All right. So thank you for the recap. But my friend, this let's just jump right to it. What'd you think of this movie, man?
Okay, what did I think of Smile?
Yes.
I thought Smile was a really good movie, very effective, possibly even the scariest movie that I saw from last year.
Whoa.
Not perfect, it had issues.
Okay.
And these are issues we'll talk about in a second. The movie frustrated me a lot throughout half of it, basically. Some things because there's things, and I think when you watch this movie, I'm going to take a wild guess because the what are they? The things in movies that I don't like. The tropes. I don't like in movies, and I'm wondering if you saw these tropes happen in this movie and we're like, oh, I don't know how Scotty feels about this. But we'll get into that. But basically, I thought the movie was really, really good, just shy of being a great movie.
Wow.
And I can see why a lot of people really did find this movie really scary and a good movie. What about you? What did you think, buddy?
So I really liked this movie a few years back when it was called It Follows.
Okay, see,
I'm kidding. I know that's mean.
Well, no, it's not mean. It's valid.
Okay, so that was what I thought throughout. This was like
the entire movie, though.
A lot of it. I just was like, this is very similar. And then there was other things though throughout this movie where I was like, oh, that's very similar to this movie and this movie and this movie, which again I shouldn't do, but it was really hard not to compare them just because there was
it's okay,
so many similarities, and I was like, maybe it was an homage to them, which is great. That's fun and exciting, but I don't feel like it was.
Well, we can talk about them. I did listen to the commentary. So if it was an homage and he mentioned it, then maybe I'll know whether or not it is or not.
That's good. So watching it, it was good. It was good. I'll say it was good. Again, I'm not jumping to great. There was really good tension. There was quite a few scenes where I was very tense, and that was very nice. And there was some, I don't know. It same though as well. There was just some frustrating parts where I just was like, okay, I've seen this before. Let's try something new. Or what is it going to be, that kind of cliche thing? And I was like, okay, kind of. So
that's not why I was frustrated, but I get that. I do get that.
Okay.
See, for me, the It Follows comparison, like I thought that I had heard that. That was one thing I heard. I stayed, like I'm good at doing, I stayed far away from trailers, anything having to do with this movie. I only saw a couple things.
Yeah.
But I did hear a couple people say, oh, it's basically It Follows Part 2. And at the beginning of the movie, when she meets the girl and the girl talks about this thing following her,
right,
I was like, oh no. Oh no, like I get it now. But it kind of went away from me.
Okay.
Like within like, I don't know, 20 minutes of the movie, the beginning of the movie, I felt like I wasn't really comparing. I felt it departed from It Follows.
Okay. And maybe I need to rewatch it. It's been a while since I've seen It Follows. I really liked It Follows though.
Well, me too. And but I feel like this movie did some things better than It Follows.
Okay.
But I feel like It Follows did a couple things better than this movie.
Fair. Okay.
So, and we can talk about that. But
yeah. So I mean, overall, my thoughts are it was good. It's not one that I'm like, I gotta rewatch this again right now. It's one I'll wait a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I rewatched it, but only with the commentary. I didn't, and that was good enough for me. Like I didn't need to watch it as a second viewing of the movie. I did want to hear Parker's commentary though, and it was very good.
Nice. Okay, well, that's good.
He did. I will say he did get into the commentary trap of just describing what was happening on screen, and I'm like, yes, I can see that. I see that she just walked into the hospital. Thank you, Parker.
Thank you.
Thank you. But let's talk about Parker, because this, like another movie we did recently, was based on a short movie that the director did first.
Oh, yeah.
He did a short movie. Actually, that's funny, because the movie that we talked about earlier, you and I did not talk about. Mary and I.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It was the episode Lights Out with Mary that I did.
Yeah.
But like that movie, he did a short film called Laura Hasn't Slept, which I have not watched.
Okay.
It starred Caitlin Stasey, who was the girl that went to visit the first girl that killed herself, basically.
Very cool.
In Smile. She stars in it, and it's her talking to a psychiatrist, and things go crazy.
Nice.
Because of that, Parker was able to get the studio, like a major studio, Paramount, to fund this movie and say, yeah, you can make this movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. So I love how the movie got made. I love that this was a first feature film by a director.
Whoa, I didn't realize that. That's awesome.
Yeah, because despite my faults with the movie, it was really, really incredibly well made.
I'll say for sure, for a first-time filmmaker, I 100% agree with that.
I mean,
absolutely.
I would say for a filmmaker who's made 5 movies, it was really well made.
Right. Yeah. More power to him, though.
Yeah.
For being a first time. That's fantastic. That's awesome.
So with that said, let's get into some of the things we didn't like.
Yes.
What do you got? Tell me something.
I think my biggest thing was just, it just seemed so familiar. I was like I said, there was some good tension and some good shocks and some good things that did happen, but even just throughout, I just kind of went, I feel like I've seen this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I had that mentality kind of throughout, where like I was like, oh, I wonder if this is gonna happen, and then it did, or something. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, cool. That's fun, fine. And so that's really my biggest gripe. I don't have like a lot of dislikes. It was just that it just felt familiar. Right. And so, and I had heard, it was another one of those things where I'd heard things about this that were really good. And I think that amped up my excitement for it a little, that's shame on me. But it was one of those where I'm like, oh, this is going to be insane. And then when it sort of follows some of those same beats, I was like, oh, okay. I was a little more excited before. And so that, again, that's on me.
Yeah, that is on you.
That's definitely on me. But because of that, it just made it a little less exciting for me. So,
I mean, I know for myself, I know that I know what scares me and what doesn't.
Right.
It does pique my interest when I hear a bunch of people saying this movie is scary as hell.
Right.
But I know full well that what scares those people may not scare me.
True. Yeah.
And this is not a movie that stuck with me afterwards.
Me either.
But so I have two major, I guess pretty major gripes with the movie. And they're two that you're going to be like, oh, of course.
Okay.
Because they're things that I don't like in movies that you and I have talked about before.
Right.
Number one, okay, it made sense in the story and the plot of this movie, but people not believing the person.
Yeah. I get
when I say that It Follows did some things better than this movie, It Follows was able to do that so much better, because I get the fact that Rose is seeing these things, and I get the fact that there's so many people that would not believe what she's telling them.
Right.
You know, this sounds crazy.
Right. I get that.
But in my view, it took the movie just a little bit too long for her to finally find somebody that could see where she was coming from and that she could show them evidence. And it was her ex-boyfriend Joel, played by Kyle Gallner, who loved seeing him.
I know. I love Kyle.
And even then, when she goes to Kyle, it's just like, look, all you got to do, like, present it in a different way. You're a smart person. Don't present it in a way that's going to make you sound crazy.
Right.
Just show him the evidence. Like, look, this person that came to me also saw somebody commit suicide less than a week before she saw me.
Right.
The person that committed suicide in front of her also saw somebody commit suicide in front of them.
Right.
Then so on and so forth, you know?
Yeah. And he's a detective. I mean, and even later on, we don't see him do it, but he does go down that rabbit hole and is like,
he does.
This has been going on for 15, 20 times or whatever. And it's like, well, I'm with you. That's some pretty jarring evidence that you could present to anybody and go, this is weird.
Right. And I don't know. I kind of get it. It just was frustrating. And he eventually got to where I wanted him to get.
Right.
It just took a little bit too long for me.
I get that. Nope. I totally get that.
And then number 2, and this is a big one for me, was the freaking birthday party scene.
Yeah.
My note to all horror movie filmmakers and creators out there.
Yeah.
All you screenplay writers. Killing an innocent pet does not make your movie more scary.
I get you, buddy. Yeah.
I mean, in a way, it was a great scene, but in another way, I just hated it completely.
Yeah. I get that. I totally get that.
And that was something I thought I was like, I wonder if Andrew's going to see this scene and know exactly how I'm feeling.
Oh, for sure I did. Yeah. The second
it was a cat too.
Yep, exactly. The second he pulled it out, I was like, uh-oh.
I mean, it was a big shock. It was a crazy, crazy, shocking scene.
Yeah, for sure. And I was not expecting him to pull that out at all. I knew something weird was going to be in it, but not.
It hit me as soon as he opened the box.
Oh, nice. Okay.
As soon as he opens that train box, and I was like, oh, God, no. Oh, the cat's going to be in it. And, and it was, it's that thing when I watch a horror movie and I see a pet in that movie, like when she came home early in the movie and the cat greeted her at the door.
Right.
I automatically get anxiety. I'm like, what are they going to do to this cat here?
Right. Right.
So stop killing innocent animals. Firestarter, you didn't need to do it.
No.
Yeah. So
there's a lot of them out there. I feel like there's a lot.
And that's it for my major gripes. I have some little ones.
Yeah.
That we can go through.
Yeah.
We'll intersperse those, I guess, with with what we liked. And
yeah.
Let's talk about what we liked about this movie.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's start with Sosie Bacon.
Yeah, dude.
What'd you think of Sosie Bacon?
So I had seen her before in a show called Oh gosh, now I feel bad.
Oh gosh,
Mayor of Easton.
Mayor of Easttown.
Easttown, that's what it is. Mayor of
Easton.
I think it might be Easttown.
I know the name, but
but she's in it, and she played someone that had some demons. I'll say that.
Okay.
And she was good. She was really good. So when I saw her, I was like, she looks really familiar. And then I realized it was from that. And then that's when I kind of went down that rabbit hole too of like, wait, Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But I thought she was great. I think she's a great actress. So
oh my God. I was blown away, man.
Yeah.
Parker said that one thing he enjoys doing is giving his actors impossible tasks. I should say tasks to do, like, and that what she had to do for this movie was an impossible task. The amount of nervousness and trauma that she had to convey throughout the entire movie, every scene, basically.
Yep. And
unbelievable.
Fear. I mean, there's fear in her eyes. There's so much of it too. Which isn't easy to do all the time. So,
right? Like the shaking and everything that she was. Oh,
yeah.
I was blown away.
Yeah, I agree. Yep, totally agree.
And I like the other actors too. There was Jessie T. Usher played her boyfriend Trevor. You have not seen The Boys yet.
And I've seen a few.
Oh, did you recognize him?
No, who was he?
He's a major character. He plays the fast character.
A-Train?
A-Train, yeah.
That's him?
A-Train. Yeah, that's him.
Whoa, I did not even recognize him.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm glad you remembered the name since you've seen a few episodes and I've seen every episode so far of The Boys. But yeah, you remember the character's name. This is why I take notes and I tell you don't have to. We got Kyle Gallner, who we already mentioned as Joel.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, Cal Penn playing Dr. Desai.
Random, yeah.
That was really cool.
Cal. Yeah.
I got another gripe with this movie.
Okay.
And it has nothing to do with the acting, so I'm sorry to bring it up during the acting portion of our podcast. I did not like her sister. The character of her sister.
I agree. Yep. She was frustrating.
Oh, she was so frustrating.
Super frustrating.
I did not even know whether she was her sister or not for a long time.
Yeah.
Because that was not conveyed with the characters. I thought I was trying to figure out, is this her sister? Is this just friends of theirs?
Yeah.
And it kind of seemed like friends because they did not seem close at all.
No,
and
not at all.
Not even the combativeness between them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you have two siblings, you can convey that.
Oh, yeah.
But also be able to show that these are siblings and they're combative because they're so close.
Totally. Yeah.
And it was a detriment to the movie because there comes the part where she's told Trevor the truth of what she's seeing. Trevor thinks she's crazy.
Yeah.
And then she goes to tell Joel in that scene that I've already mentioned.
Right.
But then after that, she goes to tell her sister. And this is after the birthday party scene where she brought this kid a train and he opens it up and it's her dead cat.
Right.
And I'll talk about that scene too, because it's a fantastic scene that I freaking hated. But anyway, she goes to her sister's house to tell her the truth. And I'm like, why would you do that? Like, of all people, this woman that doesn't even seem to like you, not gonna believe you.
No, I know. Although that scene did lead to a very fun jump.
Oh, which one? Oh, I didn't think it was as fun. Maybe because I saw the screenshot so much of the upside down face and smile.
I never saw it.
Yeah, that was like the one screenshot I saw from the movie.
I didn't.
Or promo.
So when she came out, I knew when we see her leave the house, I was like, well, that's not her sister. And I was like, something's going. Then when the head flings, I was like, hey, yeah. So I liked it.
Now talking about jump scares, I really did like the one in her house where she's listening to the recording of her session. And it's so creepy. So there's things that I didn't catch in this movie. First of all, when she has the curse and she looks out her window and she sees the person down in the courtyard of the hospital, that's her mom. Did you catch that?
I did not catch that.
No, I didn't catch that. Even the second time, I didn't catch it until Parker in the commentary says that's her mom. And I was like, oh. And then supposedly Parker also said that the voice that she hears on the recording, it's a voice saying her name.
Right.
That's also supposed to be her mother saying her name.
Interesting. Okay.
I think that was a little too subtle, probably.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we get the mom at the end, but that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had no idea the other ones. That's crazy.
But after she hears it and when she turns it all the way up and then the voice goes away.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden her mom is like right next to her.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. So
that was a good one. Yeah.
I will say the jump scares in this movie were fantastic.
There was a good one. I also loved too. It wasn't necessarily a jump scare, but when she first gets the curse and she's kind of freaking out in her kitchen and she just looks over to the side and you see her smiling, just sitting kind of in the corner. I was like, "Ooh, guys, like this is I feel I'm scared. I'm a little nervous right now.
Yeah,
It was a good shot.
the scary moments were really good.
Yes. Yep.
I loved I wrote it down, the phone when she's on the phone with security. Security calls her
Yes.
and you think she's talking to security, and all of a sudden security's like, "Are you sure, Rose?
Yes.
Are you sure you haven't let something inside?" And I was just like, "Woo, that's creepy."
Yep. And then it says like, look behind you.
Oh, yes, yes.
And that's when I had my pillow up to my face at that point. I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, this is horrifying. I was like, this is really, I'm tense, man.
Are you sure it was a pillow and not Enzo?
It was Enzo.
Your
yes.
poor baby was like crushed against you. What about the scene with her psychiatrist, Dr. Madeline?
I knew that wasn't her right away. I knew
you did.
Yeah,
I think I did. I can't remember if I knew or not, but I still see that's something else I was going to talk about.
Mm.
So the whole concept of the movie, the smiling,
right.
I think at times it was done really well.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically whoever was doing the smiling.
Right.
Sometimes it was effective. Sometimes it wasn't really.
Fair.
You know?
Yeah.
Like Laura Weaver, her patient at the beginning, super effective.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, she's on the poster, right?
Yes. Yep. She's great.
Dr. Madeline, she has a pretty good smile.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The guy killing himself in the video with the garden shears.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I didn't think his smile was that special.
That's fair.
That wasn't a creepy smile to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I basically I'd have to go through my notes, but I wrote down all of the different smiles and whether I thought they were effective or not. At the end of the movie, when she goes to Joel's apartment,
yes,
which is not real, it's in her mind, but she goes and then he starts talking to her and he starts to smile.
Yes,
didn't think Kyle Gallner looked that creepy.
That's fair. I get that one. Yeah.
Because the thing that Parker was trying to achieve was that the smile would stop at the smile. Like the eyes would not be smiling.
Oh,
and unfortunately, I think some people didn't pull that off as well. You know?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Yeah.
It's funny. People can't see it, but you're practicing right now.
I am. I know.
And I practiced during the movie myself.
I know what the rest of the night is.
So it was also a very heavy movie.
Yeah,
because deep down the movie, I guess the whole metaphor, if there was one, was about trauma.
Right.
And how people hide trauma with a smile.
Right.
And the evil entity is trauma personified. And it feeds off of trauma. We find that out.
And we see her childhood where she saw her mom overdose and had a really cruddy childhood. So we see that trauma, and she's, of course, has that horrible moments in her past, which it's going to feed off of. It wants her. So
now this is something else I didn't get, and I want to know if you got it.
Okay.
Because the director kind of spelled it out in the commentary.
Okay.
So what I didn't get is that she could have saved her mother's life. That's the trauma. The trauma that she was dealing with was not just that she saw her mother overdose and die. But at the end of the movie, when she goes back to her house, her old house, and she has the vision of her mom, and she goes into the bedroom and her mom is like, help me. Like, I forget if her mom is actually saying help, but she in her way, she's asking for help.
Right.
And young Rose, because of what her mother has put her through, she could have called 911, but she didn't.
Okay.
Which was really heavy because it showed me that, oh man, the trauma she's dealing with is not just the fact that her mother died, but the fact that she could have done something to stop it.
Right. Oof.
Yeah. Oofta.
Oofta.
So that's happy.
Yeah, good times. It puts a smile on my face.
Yeah. What did you think of the final act? When she goes, like, basically the creature design.
Yeah. Well, when we first see it's like I feel like recently we've seen movies where there's kind of a couple movies, I won't say which ones or anything, but where a taller man is kind of portraying a female.
Can you sign it to me on Zoom? Can you do charades right now so I can try and guess?
Wait, that looked right.
Wait,
horrible.
I saw that movie in my teenage years. Come on.
Let's just say it reminded me of a baby.
Oh, yeah. Got it.
There you go.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah.
Although this was a much bigger creature.
Right. Yeah, but it starts with that though, and then when it takes off its skin or whatever.
Yeah. Ooh,
and then we
come
see
on,
the,
dude.
the smiles.
Come on.
Like, what the heck?
So that was the true face of the creature.
Right.
And I love that. Even Parker said when she first goes into the bedroom and she sees basically her mom sitting on the bed.
Right.
When her mom looks up, he said he wanted everybody to be expecting to see the smile.
Right.
But she looks up and she's not smiling.
Right.
But then speaking of but then when she at the end of that moment she does smile, and then she gets up and she when she comes through the door she's that huge creature.
Right.
But dude, come on. I applaud Parker for having such an amazing creature effects creature, whatever, like if it was CG, if it was practical, I'm not sure, but it looked amazing. The design of it
did. It was
so
very
scary.
Cool. Yep. All the teeth.
It's cool. Only on the screen for moments.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We get it for less than a minute.
Yeah.
Probably.
And then we see the profile of the creature as it's very creepily going into Rose's mouth, which I guess is what it does at the end of every cycle. We find out that and this is crazy. I'm going to mention this in a second.
Yeah.
We find out that it basically widens the person's mouth and climbs into their mouth.
Yes.
And that's a physical manifestation way of showing that it's possessing that person.
Right. That makes sense.
Watching it a second time, when you see the scene near the beginning with Laura, you see the moment that's happening.
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
When she backs up against the wall, there's a moment where she's just sitting there with her mouth wide open. And after you've seen the whole movie, you're like, oh man, that's creepy.
That's cool. Ooh. I didn't even catch that. That's good. I do like that.
I will say I think the movie does benefit from a second viewing.
Okay. That's fair.
Except for the stupid birthday party scene. Let's talk about that scene.
Yes. Yeah. Lay it on me, man. I want to hear.
Because the notes that I have written down is that, first of all, it was crazy to me that Rose would even go to that party.
Yeah. Yep. I thought
knowing that she's seeing something that nobody else can see.
Yeah.
But whatever, she goes. Then I wrote down hate the birthday scene. But then I wrote down a compliment. I said the little kid was a brilliant actor.
He was very good. Yeah.
The face that he just the look on his face when he opens that and he sees what's in there, and then he kind of looks over at his parents, and the fear on his face as he pulls the dead cat out.
Yeah.
But then this is my next note. I hated the anxiety of that scene. I hated her heartbreak.
Yeah.
And I also hated the embarrassment of what everybody was seeing happen in front of them.
Yes. Yep.
I know you're supposed to be uncomfortable as hell in that scene, and dude, I was.
It was very uncomfortable, and everyone backs away. I mean, it's like they look at her like a leper. They all just scatter, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is the worst day of, well, maybe not considering what's had happened to her, but a very bad day in her life.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And she part of that was her acting, of course.
Yeah.
Because the thing that hit me is, again, real trauma. Like we know what it's like to lose a pet. You know, a lot of people know that sadness, and she had no idea that was going to happen. There's no like hidden memory in her system that is going to be brought to the surface when the kid pulls the cat out. She is seeing her poor dead cat, you know?
Right.
And so she's feeling that sadness at the same time that she's feeling the fear and everything else she's feeling. But she, you know, she picks it up and she's just cradling it and crying. And it's just like, oh man. Oh, I'm getting so animated that I knocked my, the cable out of my headphones. So,
well, one thing too, I will say about that scene.
Yeah.
Is, that I didn't like necessarily. It was a great scene, like you said. I mean, there's just a lot of anxiety and everything, but the fact that she's freaking out over this cat, I mean, I think at that point I'd be like, I don't know if she put this cat in there. I think someone may have like murdered a cat and is like messing with her. You know what I mean? Like, she's not sitting there like, I gave you my dead cat. She's nervous, she's sad, she's freaking out. And I'm like, I feel like if I was at that party, I'd be like, this is scary. Like, someone's screwing with this lady and killed her cat and gave it, you know, hid it in the box when she wasn't looking. Maybe it was her boyfriend. You know what I mean? Like, I think everyone just immediately is like, you're a freak. But it's like, I don't know.
Well, everybody, so it's a complicated scene in that regard, because to me, it was realistic.
Right.
It was painfully realistic. It was uncomfortably realistic. Everybody's backing away because, holy crap, there's a dead cat.
Right.
And this kid just pulled a dead cat instead of a train.
Right.
Toy train. But then any sympathy that somebody might have for her goes away as soon as she sees the girl sitting in the chair with the big smile on her face.
You're right. Yes, that's right. I forgot about that.
She freaks out and she starts screaming at the entity.
You're right.
And then she falls backwards into the glass table. Yeah. My God.
It's all cut up. Oh, and her scream when she looks at her hands.
Yes.
Horrifying. Like that.
Yes.
That was so realistic. I mean,
I'm getting chills right now thinking about it.
Yeah. Oof, man. I don't even know what to say. I sat there and was like, yeah, that's exactly how you would be if that happened.
And this movie contained two of the best screams in recent horror movie history that I can think of.
Ooh.
The other being the guy she visits in prison.
Oh, yes.
So she visits the guy because he actually killed somebody in front of somebody else to pass the trauma without him having to die.
Right.
And at first I was like, why don't you just tell him why you're there? But then I realized why she doesn't tell him, because as soon as she tells him, he freaks out, because if she kills herself right in front of him, it gets passed back to him.
Yes. Yes.
And the way he freaks out and the way he screams at the end of that scene, good.
It was very good. That was a good scene too. I did like that.
Yeah.
I liked that.
Great scene.
Yeah.
Great freaking scene. Now, going back, I have a lot of notes, but I don't think I need to talk about all of them. Going back to the end of the movie, I will say this too. I was kind of disappointed because all these other deaths that we saw or heard about were gruesome.
Right. Yes.
She saw a girl use, what was it, like a sharp piece of plastic or something?
Yeah.
Slice her throat.
Yeah. Dark.
Bleed out. The guy that killed himself in front of that girl beat his face in with a hammer, and we saw the aftermath of that.
Yes. Oh my god.
Like in a really brief flash, which was brilliant.
Yeah.
By the way, like it's a really calm scene where she's talking really somberly to this woman, and then it just flashes to his mangled face, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah. What? That was bad.
The other guy took garden shears and just, in a very over the top, like too over the top, I feel.
Yeah.
Because come on.
I agree.
Like just this huge splash of blood, and it's like, really?
Yeah.
But he basically like cut himself with these garden shears, like sliced himself down the front, which we don't, we just see him from behind.
And then you see the
but
blood.
we see the blood shoot out, and it's like, come on. And then the other lady, it looked like she was in a hospital or something. She had stabbed her eyes out.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's right.
But then we get to the end and we get to Rose, and all she really does is soak herself in gasoline and set herself on fire.
Right. I mean, that's pretty horrific, though. I'll say.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Oh no.
Oh no. I mean, as far as like a good horror movie killing,
right. Well, and then we don't even
lame.
see it really. I mean, we kind of,
See, and this is where I'm going to go back on what I just said, because as much as I thought the death was a lame horror movie death,
yeah,
I did think it was cool that the last image we see is the reflection of her burning alive in his eye.
Right. Well, and that's
man.
I like that too. I mean, it just sets it up like, okay, obviously the curse is passed on, but
yeah,
it was, yeah. I mean, I don't know. To me, I always think of that. I'm like, that sounds like a horrifying death. Oofda.
Yeah, I mean, I would hate to burn alive myself, but
right? Yeah, I would think.
Before I forget, first of all, the two things I want to really give huge credit to.
Yeah.
Charlie Sarroff was the cinematographer.
Oh yeah.
And the cinematography in this movie was gorgeous.
I would agree with that. Yep, absolutely. There's some really cool shots. Which is not, I'm trying to, so typically when I think of like a beautiful shot, I think of like Lord of the Rings, where it's outdoors. It's kind of this, you know what I mean? You just think of like, oh, that's
Smile
beautiful.
was exactly like Lord of the Rings.
Very similar. You shall not smile. But
that was really good.
Oh, thanks, man. No, but this movie had like a lot of city shots, which I don't necessarily find as pretty, but they were very pretty. Yeah. I thought so. Oh, yeah. I totally agree.
Beautiful overhead shots that were just really perfectly symmetrical. And also one of my really interesting shot, and I feel like I've seen similar shots in other movies, but I still loved it, was just the composition of the shot when she, at the end, when she's walking up towards her old house.
Oh, it's
following her, and just just the composition of that shot was beautiful to me.
Totally. And the shot of the house, I mean, just any of that would be a cool poster with just that building and the way it's shot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Also, the score. So what did you think of the music?
I think it was good. I don't have like a lot of notes. It didn't necessarily stick with me, but I think it definitely added to the anxiety, I guess.
For sure.
It definitely added to that. But again, I couldn't like give you a tune right now. You know what I mean?
No, it's not a memorable.
Right.
There wasn't a memorable theme really.
Right.
But the composer was Cristobal Tapia de Veer.
Right on.
And yeah, it was another one of, as we've talked about, you have basically kind of two types of scores in horror movies. You either have an orchestral score with melodies and such,
right,
or you have a mood score.
Yes. Yeah.
With where the instruments make sounds that, and a lot of a lot of James Wan's movies are like that.
Good. Yep. Very good.
But this one was like that, but I think it was a little more unnerving, the music.
Yeah.
So
well, like I said, it added to the atmosphere for sure.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's about all I have. What about you?
That's pretty much all I have, man.
I mean, there's a lot of little notes. Like there's a lot of nice little smile moments in it, like the poster in the train shop that has the people smiling.
Yes. Oh yeah.
When she's at work the day after the curse and she's holding a mug, the mug has a smiley face on it. Little things like that. And I loved Laura Weaver's body under the sheet in the morgue.
Oh yeah.
Where the blood stain is the shape of a smile.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
I have to say too one thing real quick. The promotions for this movie were pretty awesome. Of people in the audience or in the crowd, excuse me, at like the baseball games.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really
I have to
good.
go back and see because I'm wondering if that was actually Caitlin, if Caitlin did it.
I wonder if it was
the actress that played Laura.
It sure might have been. Whoever it
Because
was,
she's
I
on the
remember had
poster.
a good smile. So
yeah.
I'll have to look too. Yeah, but I what brilliant promotion, man. Like getting the ticket right behind the umpire. Well done. Well done.
There is one scene we didn't talk about.
Oh, okay.
And a character we didn't talk about at all. Crazy Carl.
Crazy
very
Carl.
First patient at the very beginning of the movie who's constantly whispering. She sees him a little bit later after she gets cursed, and she sees him sitting on the bed with a smile.
Yeah.
He was fantastic.
He was great. Yeah. Yep.
But there's the scene where she goes to the hospital where she thinks that's what I have to do. I have to kill somebody in front of somebody else to pass this on. And she goes up to his room, and oh my God, that scene was amazing.
Yes.
Because Dr. Desai walks in. She's cornering Carl, but then Dr. Desai walks in and he's like, Rose, what are you doing here? And then she turns around and she's got a knife.
Yeah.
And she just starts stabbing Carl.
Yes. Like a lot.
Yeah. And graphically, like
yes.
You're sitting here watching the knife like go in. And then he's like screaming, but then he's like laughing at her.
Yes.
And then she looks back at Dr. Desai and he starts screaming and then he rips his face off.
Yes, I forgot that.
And then she wakes up in her car and none of it ever happened. What a fantastic scene.
That was pretty awesome.
I had to make sure to mention that one.
Yes. Yes.
And here's another little note. I'm just looking through my notes and this is another little one. This has to do with the last movie we did.
Okay.
One of our notes about Christmas Bloody Christmas was that the flashing police lights on the cars hurt our eyes.
Right.
It was so colorful and so bright that we had to look away.
Yes.
The scene where she has the cops come to her house
and
there's flashing lights there.
Oh, yeah.
Did not hurt my eyes at all.
Me either. I know exactly the scene you're talking about too.
I've seen so many movies with police lights, flashing police car lights.
Yeah.
And like, I never would have noticed this, but I did this time.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. Did not bother me this time either. Nope.
Well, with that, do you have anything else or would you like to do 3 questions?
I think let's do 3 questions.
Okay.
Who would cross the bridge of death must answer me these questions 3.
All right, my friend.
All right.
This is your movie, so you're jumping in first. But what was what was the best death/kill in Smile?
I think there actually weren't many.
Right.
But I'm gonna go with Laura Weaver at the beginning.
Yeah, me too.
She had possibly the creepiest smile in the movie, and just the most gruesome death.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna go with her.
Yep.
How about you?
Exact same one. Yep. And the fact that she didn't even, not even cut just her neck, but she goes just high enough where it's like in her cheek and then down to her neck. I was just like, yeah, that looks rough. So definitely Laura.
Yeah.
All right, question number 2. Was this movie scary?
Well, by all outside evidence, I think this movie is very scary to a lot of people. It made me uncomfortable in a way that no other movie did last year.
Yes.
It was disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
It did not stay with me after the movie ended.
Yep.
I was okay. I didn't. Mary was actually out of town, so I was sleeping in my bedroom by myself, and I was not scared at all.
Nice.
So it did not stick with me. I thought the tension was very, very extremely well done, though. So, and I think it could possibly scare other people. What about you?
Everything you just said. exactly what you did.
Except I didn't hold the pillow close.
I did. Yeah, you're right. There was that scene for sure where I was like, Yishka. But
I'm happy that this movie had you gripping a pillow tight.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Exit and light.
Yes.
Enter night.
I know that song.
Question number 3.
All right. Question number 3. Did you have fun with horror?
Sometimes. I would not call this movie fun. Really? Like there's
right.
I would say the last act of this movie is actually kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair.
Because that's when the creature effects start and all that. But the first half of the movie it's just heavy. It's dark. It's traumatizing. I think it's a really good movie. I think, despite my issues, I think it is a really good horror movie. One of the better ones of last year.
Nice.
What about you, buddy?
Overall, like you said, it's a very heavy movie, but I did have fun overall. I think it's one I would recommend. You know what I mean? Like, it's there were some really good moments. There was some that like I said, it's some moments where I was like, all right, I've seen this, but overall, yeah, not bad.
All right. Well, there you go. We braved Smile and we lived to tell the tale.
But only for 7 days.
Hello?
This is First Line Security. May I have your name and the passcode?
Rose Cotter, Acapulco.
Ma'am, we've detected a door alarm.
Yeah, the back door of my house is open.
Are you alone in the house, ma'am?
Yes.
Are you sure?
What?
Are you sure you haven't let something inside, Rose? Look behind you.
Okay, well, we've reached that wonderful segment of our podcast where we find out what movie we're watching next. So, Andrew, would you please do us the favor? Do us the honor is what I actually meant to say. Do us the honor of telling us what movie we're going to discuss. We're going to watch, and it's nighttime. It's a day. It's nighttime. I like it.
You haven't even eaten yet, I don't think, huh?
I haven't eaten. Well, I ate lunch. I'm good.
That was a long time ago.
So anyway, do us the honor, Andrew, of telling us what movie we're watching and discussing next.
All right. So this movie was recently brought to our attention in our last episode. Someone's favorite movie of the year.
One of their two favorites.
One of their two favorites. You're right.
Yeah.
But it's one I don't know. I don't know much about, but I'm quite curious.
I don't know much.
Oh, we can sing. It's a movie that came out last year, 2022, called Speak No Evil. And you can watch it. It's on Shudder if you have Shudder. Yeah, it's on Shudder, IMC Plus, or that's it for like streaming. You can rent it or buy it though as well from Amazon, Apple, all the places you'd buy movies. So
right on, buddy.
Yeah, man. Speak No Evil.
I don't know anything about this movie. I've seen it on other people's top 10, top 20 lists. So I have heard that it might be a little bit disturbing.
Yes. Yeah.
Our friend Stanley just recently posted about it, and he said the same thing. He said, what he said intrigued me though. So
yeah.
So I'm looking forward to watching this and being traumatized again. Thanks, pal.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
So that will be our episode. That's actually going to be episode 77 in 2 weeks.
Right.
2 Tuesdays from now. But in between, we will have a very special episode coming up just this Friday for Friday the 13th.
Yes.
I'm going to be joined by our friend Stanley again.
Nice.
And we're going to discuss one of the Friday the 13th movies, and you'll find out which movie it is on Friday the 13th itself.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
I'm excited. I'm excited to hear it.
I'm excited for you to listen, buddy.
Thanks, man.
All right, everybody. Andrew,
yes. Thank you, buddy.
It's a wonderful night.
It is. I want you though. You eat, buddy. I've already eaten and I feel bad. It's very late. Like you need to
I'm
eat some
fine.
dinner.
I'm fine.
Get out of here.
I don't eat.
You should eat. It's good for you.
No, I'm fine. I told you I had lunch, so I'm good.
Like yeah,
I'm not dying. I'm not dying. I'm good. I'm good. You worry too much.
I don't worry enough.
You worry too much.
I don't worry
Winston.
enough about my sweet
Wait,
boy.
no, I'm Winston.
You're Winston.
And you're Irving.
I'm Irving.
Irving, you worry too much.
I would never not worry enough about you.
Just worry about my ulcer and nothing else.
You know what helps an ulcer?
What?
Dinner.
Oh, look at you. Look at what you just did to me.
I did it.
You've done it to me again.
I eat my dinner at 4:30.
Winston. Irving. I always forget our names. I guess the Alzheimer's acting up. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oops, I did it again. Hit me, Irving, one more time.
I'll never hit you. You're too hungry.
Everybody, thank you for listening.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. We love you guys.
We love you. We'll never get tired of Winston and Irving.
Never.
Even if you guys do.
Yeah,
if everybody out there
totally
does. Like, oh, this again.
Yeah. We got rid of those two.
Well, this podcast is over.
Yeah. Bye.
So anyway, yeah, thank you, everybody. We love you. Andrew,
Yes.
I love you.
I love you, Scotty.
Do you love Chucky in the back?
I do. And I also love your Killer Clowns, not only shirt, but also pajama bottoms.
Yes, you got to see my pajamas tonight. So that's what happens when we record at night. You get to see my pajamas. It's great.
I know. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. All right, buddy. You have a wonderful night. You have everybody out there have a wonderful day on this beautiful Tuesday.
Yes.
And we'll be back soon.
Yes. Bye.
Goodbye.
This is not real.
But Rose, your mind makes it real.
What are you? Why are you doing this to me?
Because you're mine.